Thank you for tuning in to Inside Taiwan. I'm Melvin Tan. Winners of the lottery held on July 5th for housing units in the A7 affordable housing project made their way to the site to choose one of the 4,238 units. From 10 in the morning on July 22nd, 90 people are scheduled each day until September 7th, when the process will end. The most popular units chosen are larger units with a good view and good natural lighting.
Before choosing a housing unit, they first take a look at the model carefully and then take a few laps around to find the best choice for them. On July 5th, the A7 Affordable Housing Project held a lottery to determine who received housing units. Now that that process is complete, the 4,238 units must be distributed. Starting at 10 in the morning on July 22nd, the process will continue until September 7th. Each day, 90 people are scheduled in 6 groups of 15 people. Many are like Ms. Chang, who wants a larger unit because there are a lot of people in her family, resulting in a high preference for 4-bedroom units. Industry experts say that because the prices of the A7 affordable housing project units are relatively low, 4-bedroom units going for under 8 million NT dollars are popular, especially if they have good lighting, are near the MRT, and are high up for a good view. Since the stakes are high for the selection process, many people who have later selection dates come by in the afternoon to look at the units and have done a lot of homework. The A7 Affordable Housing Project plan includes 37 residential buildings with units of 30 to 50 ping. The price per ping is 138,000 to 162,000 NT dollars for a total price of 4.5 million to 8 million NT dollars, about 70% of market price. The project is estimated to be completed by 2015.
As of August 1st, the public can apply for first issue or replacement ID cards at any household registration office in the municipality where they are registered. Those that are registered on one of Taiwan's offshore islands but living on Taiwan proper, meanwhile, can file their application at any household registration office on the island instead of going back to the registered islands.
At present, applications for first issue or replacement ID cards can only be filed at the household registration office where a person's residence is registered. Due to the inconvenience, the Ministry of the Interior has decided to allow the public to apply for first issue or replacement ID cards at any household registration office in the municipality where they are registered. For example, a person whose household is registered in Hsinchu County's Hukou Township will in the future be able to apply for an ID card in Hsinchu City. Those that are registered on one of Taiwan's offshore islands, meanwhile, will be able to apply for ID cards at any household registration office on Taiwan proper. The measure will go into effect on August 1st and also applies to applications for legal name changes and death certificates. However, those that want to simultaneously change their names and apply for a replacement ID card are exempted. According to the MOI, restrictions may be further relaxed after 1 year.
The Council of Labor Affairs have performed a large-scale data analysis on college graduates with a bachelor's degree or higher. The study examined the graduates' data and coverage by labor insurance and government employee and school staff insurance and found that of the 190,000 students that graduated with a higher education degree last year, about 45% have already found work. The most popular jobs were in social work, childcare, and tourism.
社工跟观光来讲的话，它是我们讲的是属于社会福利学门，还有民生产业的学门。那其实像社会服务或者是餐馆业的部分，事实上在这个一般的就业市场方面呢，它的就业率其实是相对来讲是高的。
According to Council of Labor Affairs analysis, students in the social service disciplines were better able to find jobs because of the close relationship of what they studied to the actual work made it easier to find jobs. Those in the tourism and food and beverage industries also had less problem finding employment due to industry demand. Their employment rate exceeded 55%. In medicine and health, environmental studies, design, and other disciplines, the employment rates were 50% or higher. Only in the natural sciences and engineering was the employment rate as low as 20%. The CLA believes that this is because science graduates often continue their studies abroad and does not mean it is difficult for them to get a job.
In order to accommodate increasing number of passengers on Taiwan high-speed rail, the THSR purchased 4 sets of trains from Japan last year. On the morning of July 22nd, the first Cartoon Network-themed trains, decorated with cartoons inside and outside the train, began providing services which attracted many families with children. Passengers rested comfortably on the new ergonomically designed seats, though the public is already complaining about the ticket prices, which will likely increase in October this year.
The yellow-colored locomotive with cartoon character Jake the Magic Dog and other cartoon characters along the train body began services on July 22nd, attracting many families with children. It is the first time the 6-year-old Taiwan high-speed rail added trains that differ from its original orange, white, and black colored trains. In addition to its cheerful appearance, the new cartoon trains also added a nursing room at its 5th compartment so that nursing mothers may breastfeed in a private space. Also, charging stations were added to the 4th and 12th train compartments for emergency cell phone and computer charges. The seats were especially designed in Taiwan with ergonomics in mind, enlarging the dining tray table with a cup holder for convenience. Despite the added values, many people are worried about the upcoming ticket price hike. THSR estimates the price will increase about 9% in October, and the cost for traveling from Taipei to Kaohsiung will go up from the current 1,490 NT dollars to 1,630 NT dollars. The new cartoon-themed trains are currently scheduled for 5 to 8 runs per day, with schedules available on the internet for ticket orders.
The family of Army conscript Hong Zhongqiu has filed a suit with the Taoyuan District Prosecutor's Office in the hopes that a full investigation into Hong's death can be launched. Hong's sister, meanwhile, has voiced a suspicion over the disappearance of surveillance footage. In response, the prosecutor's office says it had asked the Investigation Bureau to further investigate video files and the camera itself.
Accompanied by a team of attorneys, Hong Zhongqiu's sister, Hong Tzu-yong, filed suit with the Taoyuan District Prosecutor's Office over allegations of destruction of evidence and falsified investigative reports. The group arrived at the southern branch of the Ministry of National Defense's investigation agency on the afternoon of the 22nd and was still there at 5 a.m. on the 23rd in the hopes of reviewing surveillance footage from the 269th Brigade. Footage from 2 p.m. to 3:20 p.m. on July 1st remains missing. According to Hong, the military claims the footage has disappeared but was not manually deleted. The Taoyuan District Prosecutor's Office says it will investigate further. According to TDPO spokesperson Dai Wenliang, the footage can hopefully be recovered through an expanded inspection of both the camera itself and relevant hardware.
In order for children in remote areas to have access to more library resources, one Yunlin coffee shop owner established a place for people to donate second-hand books. The owner not only encourages people to donate through discounts, but also matches book donation numbers with donation from the shop. The owner collects the books every season and donates them to libraries in remote towns in the hope of giving them more resources to improve their education.
Workers are busy packing books and loading stack after stack of children's books into the vehicle. These children's books are to be sent to remote rural areas. This is a cafe located in Yunlin, which has established a second-hand book donation center and is calling on customers to go buy books and donate them. The owner said that they originally opened a cafe and provided reading materials for the customers to read. Slowly, customers began to donate books, and now they collect the books every 4 months when the number of books reaches a certain number. They then will take them to libraries in remote rural areas. Seeing the kids reading the wonderful children's books made the owner very happy. Library resources in remote rural areas cannot compare to those in the cities. This is especially important in the summer when many children have nowhere to go except the library. On this trip, the cafe owner will take 800 books and hopes that they will provide rural children with a richer source of knowledge and encourage them to read more.
A new exhibition shows the far-reaching imaginations of students from Kaohsiung's Jiyang Primary School. Each of them created their ideal study, and the results couldn't be more different. Let's take a look.
Student Yang Tingjie applied his love of the outdoors to his design, incorporating elements of nature and of ecology. Each of the studies had its own special characteristics. Tu Guanyi, a piano player, paid special attention to the sounds of the study, as interacting with any of the objects will cause music to play. For example, opening a drawer leads to the notes of the interlude Flight of the Bumblebee, as the goal was to create a feeling of a swarm of bees rushing out of the drawer. For the mirror, Tu chose a piece by Claude Debussy, reasoning that the composer's songs have a three-dimensional quality that suits the reflections of a mirror. In recent years, children's natural curiosity and inquisitiveness have been squashed by the pressures of school, and this exhibit was an opportunity for them to unleash their imaginations. Yang Jingtang, the organizer of the exhibit, says it also serves to remind adults to slow down their lives and appreciate the music, writings, and art around them. The exhibit will be open to the public at the Meinong Hakka Cultural Museum until the end of September.
Acclaimed Hakka poet Ye Risong's latest work was inspired by his hometown, Fuli Township in Hualien. And therefore, he chose to hold a book launch there and also presented copies of the book to local elementary schools.
Ye Risong reads one of his poems aloud. As the poems in his latest work were inspired by his hometown, many of the place names and landmarks that he cites are familiar to the audience. The poems draw upon his childhood experiences, including the years he spent studying at Dongju Primary School. Ye knows firsthand that rural schools often lack resources, especially books, and therefore he celebrated the launch of his newest work by donating copies of the book to his alma mater and other local elementary schools. Fuli Township Mayor Huang Linglan says the township is very proud to have a native son like Ye Risong and encourage all residents to study his works. In addition to being a poet, Ye is also a teacher, which allows him to combine his passions for education and literature. He said he hopes that through reading, the children of the township will be able to control their own futures.
A Miaoli woman sustained severe injuries during a motorcycle accident in Toufen on the 22nd. Fortunately, two nurses happened to pass by and were able to provide emergency medical treatment. One held an umbrella over the woman while the other stopped the bleeding. Flooded with praise, the two nurses have responded humbly, saying they were only doing their jobs.
On the evening of July 22nd, an elderly woman in her 70s was riding her moped in Miaoli's Toufen when she accidentally struck another moped. Afterwards, her leg was pinned underneath the other moped, rendering her unable to move. Fortunately, two Weigong Memorial Hospital nurses happened to pass by while on their way to dinner and were able to treat her. Emergency room nurse Xie Yuanhua held an umbrella over the woman, while intensive care unit nurse Chen Yiqi worked to stop the bleeding. Only after the woman was safely in an ambulance did the nurses leave the scene. Flooded with praise from the public, the two nurses humbly said they were only doing their jobs and hope that everyone can lend a helping hand when needed.
Welcome back to Inside Taiwan. I'm Melvin Tan. World Taiwanese Chambers of Commerce President Li Fangxing recently led a delegation of Taiwanese Chambers of Commerce officials back to Taiwan. Apart from meeting with President Ma Ying-jeou and paying visits to the legislature, Ministry of Economic Affairs and Overseas Community Affairs Council, the group also expressed support for Taiwan and said it hopes exchanges with various government agencies can be beneficial to both sides.
Legislative Yuan Vice President Sophie Hong warmly greets the delegation. Led by World Taiwanese Chambers of Commerce President Li Fangxing, the 30 delegates are all officials from Taiwanese Chambers of Commerce from across 6 continents. According to Li, the establishment of a friendly association of members of the legislature and WTCC has allowed ties between the two sides to grow closer. For example, 19 legislators attended the WTCC's Board of Directors meeting in Malaysia earlier this year. On behalf of Legislative Yuan President Wang Jingping, Hong thanked the overseas Chinese business community for its contributions and acting as a role model for civic diplomacy. Apart from meeting with Hong, the delegation also visited the Ministry of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance, and Tourism Bureau. During its visit to the Overseas Community Affairs Council, the delegates were welcomed by OCAC Minister Wu Yingyi and his deputies, National Policy Advisor Jonathan Huang, Legislator Zhang Kai-chen, and OCAC Advisor Wu Songbo. Wu Yingyi pledged support for the WTCC's annual meeting in September and invited the delegation to return in October for the Double 10 National Day celebrations. Before leaving Taiwan, the group will also meet with President Ma Ying-jeou and pay visits to the Cabinet and Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
The voyage data recorder on board the Guangdaxing No. 28 was a key piece of evidence in the shooting incident, revealing the exact route of the vessel during the ill-fated voyage. Researchers from National Cheng Kung University who developed the system are now improving it, adding functions and capabilities.
In May of this year, a fisherman aboard the Liuqiu registered Guangdaxing No. 28 was killed by Philippine Coast Guard personnel. The Philippines insisted that the shooting was motivated by the trespassing of the Guangdaxing No. 28 into its territorial waters. However, the vessel's voyage data recorder showed that it had remained in Taiwan's waters. This VDR system records the vessel's position every 3 minutes by using GPS. Now it can also alert vessels if they are about to enter another country's waters. 7 years ago, in an effort to reduce the fraudulent use of fuel, the Fisheries Agency commissioned National Cheng Kung University to create the system. As the VDR recorded exact positions and coordinates, many fishermen worried that their favorite fishing grounds would be revealed and imposed the installation of the recorders. Only after the Guangdaxing No. 28 incident did they express approval for the system. NCKU researchers have also been busy upgrading the system, adding functions and capabilities so that it can also monitor changes in fishery resources. They are also testing whether wireless transmissions are feasible. At present, nearly 10,000 Taiwanese fishing vessels have VDRs, which record information such as time, location, and even what types of fishing methods were used.
Researchers from Daya University's new bachelor program for design and materials for medical equipment and devices have devised a way to extract bone materials from discarded oyster shells. The resulting minerals can be used for multiple purposes, such as for bone void fillers or root canal fillers.
A research team from Daya University's bachelor program for design and materials for medical equipment and devices has devised a way to extract bone minerals from discarded oyster shells and eggshells. The resulting white powder has a similar composition as hydroxylapatite and tricalcium phosphate, materials found in the human bones, and can be used to make artificial bones and teeth. Tests still need to be conducted on animals and humans, and it is estimated that the first products made from these minerals will hit the market within a decade.
In order to eliminate drugs in schools, the Hsinchu city government will perform drug tests on junior and senior high students to identify drug-using students and get them counseling and treatment. Human rights groups, however, have criticized the policy as being heavy-handed and infringing on the interests of the students. They have demanded that the Control Yuan intervene and prevent the students from having their human rights violated.
Parents and human rights groups have gathered together and are walking toward the Control Yuan because they are unhappy. The Hsinchu city government, waving the banner for a drug-free campus, has begun urine testing for middle and high school students. Many have criticized this approach as a serious violation of student interest. Human rights groups believe that urinalysis is illegal and a violation of students' privacy. The Hsinchu City Education Department is responding to the criticism by having parents and students agree before carrying out the test and making them non-mandatory. The Hsinchu City government hopes that through comprehensive urine screening, students needing counseling and treatment can be identified as soon as possible and drug use can be curbed. There are many disagreements, however, about whether or not this practice is acceptable.
Taipei's Department of Health has said that orthokeratology contact lenses that temporarily reshape the cornea to reduce refractive errors are not suitable for everyone, especially children under the age of 9. Ophthalmologists add that while these types of contact lenses can stop myopia from getting worse, misuse can lead to corneal ulcers and infections.
A male high school student suffering from medium myopia used orthokeratology contact lenses for more than a year. One time he used tap water to clean the lenses, and the result was corneal ulcers and infections. His eyesight worsened, and he was almost left blind. After a corneal transplantation, he regained his sight. Orthokeratology contact lenses are meant to be worn at night. They temporarily reshape the cornea to reduce refractive errors such as myopia or farsightedness. However, they are not suitable for everyone, such as those with corneal abrasions or children under the age of 9. As they are also expensive, they are not often recommended as a treatment. They can only prevent myopia from getting worse. The misuse can result in corneal ulcers and infections or astigmatism.
A resident of Pingdong County's Guangfu village is locally renowned for his wood sculptures and stone art. However, none of his pieces has ever been publicly exhibited. Impressed by his talent, villagers have urged him to exhibit his works in his family home and help develop the local tourism industry.
Zhong Zhaoming walks along the river in search of stones. The artist will later paint and sculpt each stone based on its original appearance and lines. His creativity breathes new life into ordinary stones and pebbles. Some become Buddhist figures, while others become deities. Zhong is also an accomplished wood sculptor. As with stones, he comes up with designs based on the original qualities of wood. In his hands, driftwood becomes soaring eagles, wide-eyed snails, or lifelike kittens and puppies. Zhong says the process of creating artwork brings him great joy, although he has never taken an art class and is completely self-taught. At the same time, he does not see his artwork as a source of income and has never been motivated by financial gains. Therefore, he has been able to preserve his unique style and stay true to his artistic ideals.
爷爷，你到底在说什么鸟啊？你听无哦？白眉，可亲像阿公安尼白白白啊！
阿公啊，是在用我们的母语教我们认识台湾在地的稀有鸟类啊。
阿公阿嬷嘛都爱有孙来叫，伫厝内，互咱的囡仔会当讲阿公阿嬷的话，唱咱家己的歌。
Welcome back, and here's a look at the event calendar. And that wraps up today's Inside Taiwan. I'm Melvin Tan. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.
立法院副院长洪秀柱亲切地与来自全球各地的台商握手寒暄。这次由世界台湾商会联合总会总会长李方信所率领的第19届重要干部回国访问团，总共有来自6大洲，共30多位台商要员参加。李方信总会长表示，立法院世界台商之友会的成立，让全球台商与政府交流更紧密。就像今年在马来西亚举办的世台总会第19届第2次理监事会，就有19位立法委员共襄盛举。
利用这个机会，热爱世界立法院因为这一次呢，在4月6号、7号、8号在马来西亚吉隆坡办的时候呢，这个洪副院长呢率团呢，一共来了19位这个立法委员呢，来跟我们台商来互动，蓝绿黄都到了。那这个来跟台商互动呢，那台商呢对于这次的这种立法院这个大举入侵19个人对我们的这样的重视呢，我们商会呢，很多台商跟我讲说这非常好，因为我们可以跟台湾的立法委员呢有直接这个见面的机会，那2-3天的时间在一起呢，也有很多的机会我们反映我们的心声。
洪秀柱副院长代表王金平院长感谢台商在全球各地发挥的功能，除了促进各国与台湾的经贸交流，同时也为国民外交做了最好示范。一行人在拜会完经济部、立法院、财政部以及交通部观光局后，随即前往侨委会，受到吴英委员长以及2位副委员长的热情接待，包括国策顾问黄正胜、立法委员詹凯成、侨委会顾问吴松柏在内，大家都互相交流国内政情，并提出建言。另外，世台总会将在今年9月底举办年会，委员长也允诺会给予支持，并希望大家踊跃回台参加双十庆典。
主要就是希望在这个大会的会场能够协助他们顺便办理双十节归国侨胞的报到手续，这些都 OK 哈，我们侨委会都会协助。那另外他们希望比照去年在他们大会的惜别晚会上面提供一个表演节目，那委员长也说我们会酌增预算，由这个预算额度内他们自己去找表演团体。那第3个呢，就是希望比照我们侨务委员会议的报到方式，每个人用识别证就可以签到。这样的软体其实是我们侨委会的资讯室自行开发的，那我们也愿意提供这方面的赞助。
此行呢，我们觉得我们台商呢，除了商业的行为跟这个动作以外呢，我们商会呢也给政府的一些建言。因为我们世界台湾商会联合总会，我们的会员呢，全部是在全球6大洲里面都有15、20、30年以上的历史。所以我们对这个世界观跟对这个世界的从世界看台湾的看法我们有很多建言，我们也很努力的、很勇敢的提出来跟政府做建议，那也得到政府非常的重视。
包括这次从海外回国的青商会员们，都提出回台投资的想法和困难，获得委员长高度的重视和肯定。世台总会访问团一行之后，还有和马总统见面，以及拜会行政院、外交部等行程，期望透过与政府各部会的密切交流，传达全球台商支持中华民国的热忱。台湾宏观电视郭秉慈、钟建刚台北采访报道。